Welcome to your grand tour of U.S. landmarks. The first place on our stop are the Niagara Falls. Something that I just learned about the Niagara Falls is that the Niagara Falls is not simply one fall. It actually has more falls than that. If you go to Google Maps, and type in Niagara Falls, we're at Google Maps, typed in Niagara Falls, you can actually go to the Niagara Falls, click and drag, and then I believe, it puts you right at Niagara Falls. So you can see what it looks like face to face, and click and drag to see a 360-degree view. If you actually went, you would actually go on a boat with somebody. Niagara Falls, let me show you where it's located on a map. We're going to do subtract, 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 subtract. And let's just look at it on a regular map. Oops. Is this a regular map? Nope. Okay, so subtract, 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 subtract. Do you see? Niagara Falls is right here. So we've got Maine up here, we've got New York right here, and Canada is above. So when I actually Googled Niagara Falls, it brought me to both a New York tourist site and a Canadian tourist site. So they kind of share this landmark. Something else that I want you to guess, and I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to let you kind of guess, is do you think Niagara Falls is a man-made, which means somebody created Niagara Falls, or do you think it is a natural landmark? Which one do you think? Man-made or natural landmark? I'll let you think about it for a second. Ooh, fancy. So this is the tourist view of it. If you said natural, you are correct. Niagara Falls are natural landmarks. And actually, let's take a look at the website talking about it. I liked this question. Something to look for when you are looking up information about a place is if you went to the tourist website of the place. If you go to the frequently asked questions or the history section, you learn a lot. It says the Niagara Falls formation is a slow process that continues today. The annual freezing and thawing of the Niagara River still wears away at the rocks under the surface. Gradual erosion and periodic rock falls steadily move Niagara Falls farther upstream. However, modern influences have caused the falls to wear away less quickly. Remedial work has been done to preserve the falls, and the volume of water has been reduced by diversion for the hydroelectric power. But it talks about how the formation of the falls began in the Ice Age, which I thought was super interesting. So those are the Niagara Falls. They are between New York and Canada. Next, we have Mount Denali. And this is what Mount Denali looks like at the foot of the mountain. And let's do a 360 view. And I don't know if you can guess where Mount Denali is based upon what you see here. But let's press back. Mount Denali is in Alaska. Let's see if we can go to the top. I'm not sure. And try. I think this is more, the top, looking down. I believe why Mount Denali is so famous is it's the tallest, but I actually, it's in Alaska, and actually, let's take a look back. Let's minus it out. Minus. Zoom out. I'm gonna let it catch up to itself. Zoom out. Okay, while it catches up, let's look at the website. Frequently asked questions on the National Park website. I learned a lot. It says, recent climate warming has affected Denali in ways that are readily apparent, such as reduced spring snowfall, fall, earlier snow melt, earlier green up and thawing of permanent snowfields, subarctic ecosystems like Denali, subarctic in Alaska, wow, are extremely sensitive to the climate and the variability and change. Let's see here. I think we're already there. So it does give you tips. I think that's wonderful about staying safe on the mountain. They have 911 up there. They have their own video. That's awesome. They have grizzlies and black bears on Mount Denali. Do not feed them. If you encounter a bear, do not run. So that's probably something to think about before visiting Mount Denali. But if you are an outdoors person, then certainly consider it. Remember, Mount Denali is in Alaska. And now think about it. Do you feel like Mount Denali is man-made or natural? Dun, 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 dun. It is natural. Nobody made that. The Earth made that. It's a natural landmark that people could go and visit in Alaska. Next, the Everglades. When I tried to click and drag my person onto the map, no blue areas appeared. Can you probably guess why? Let's zoom out and see. What does it look like? Does it look like people walk around there? No. Much of this is marsh or swamp-ish. So people really don't walk around here taking pictures. You have to kind of scoot all the way over to this road to even see, to be able to see. So let's drop it there and see. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, cool. It's got the watery land right there. You've got a bridge you can walk down into the Everglades. Awesome. I don't know how far it lets you go. This is cool. Yeah, it is kind of swampy. How far will you let me go into the Everglades? Do you know where the Everglades are? I hope you do, because of where you're currently living if you're taking this class. The Everglades are in, starts with an F, almost there, Florida. You're right, the Everglades are in Florida. Now here's another question. Are the Everglades a natural or man-made landmark? Remember, a landmark is a cool place that people want to visit. So are the Everglades natural or man-made? And please understand that this bridge is not the Everglades. It's the, oops, I was about to give you a clue. It's the stuff around the bridge. That's the Everglades. That's super cool that it lets you take the path into the Everglades. It is a natural landmark. Did you get it right? Good. Let's take a look at their website really quick. Wow, cool. And if you want to go to the Everglades, certainly you can go in person, or I just went to googlemaps.com and I just searched for it and bam, it came right up. Their website is not spectacular. So what I did was I went to this page here on their website. So it was nps.gov, National Park Service, I think. And then I just Googled this. It was the first thing that came up. But it has photos. It has the history and the culture. It has education. So if you clicked on photos and more, be super patient apparently, it should pop up what we're looking for. Yep. I liked this page. And honestly, this page encouraged me to give you these links in the folder, so you can go here too. But it has webcams that let you explore yourself. It has videos people took. It has photos people took. Audio tours. So if this is how you use an audio tour. You bring this link up on your phone, put headphones in, and you could, if you're walking around the Everglades, people will tell you what you're looking at, which I thought was really, really neat. So that's the Everglades, a natural landmark in What state? Ooh, it's getting closer. What state are the Everglades in? In Florida. Good. Next on the tour, we are at Mount Rushmore. This is Mount Rushmore. And let's see if it'll let me zoom in. Cool. Zoom in. Do you see who these people are? Let's actually go back. Let's drag our little guy. Where is Mount Rushmore? South Dakota. Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota. All right, let's see if it lets us look at this place up close. I liked the Mount Rushmore website, the frequently asked questions. It said who created the sculpture. This guy, Borglum, and 400 workers. How much did it cost? Are you ready? $989,000 to create. How long did it take? 14 years. Are the faces eroding, which means are the pieces of the faces coming off? It says no. The estimated rate is 1 inch per every 10,000 years. That's when 1 inch will fall off every 10,000 years. And then who is it named after? This was crazy. Charles E. Rushmore, a New York City attorney who was here on business. They just picked somebody to name it after, and then he got to have this giant landmark named after him, which I don't know how he got so lucky, but geez Louise, right here. So we've got all the presidents carved in a mountain, all the important presidents. Last question, which I think you'll think is interesting. Were there any deaths with those people climbing up there, carving out presidents? And they said, no, no deaths. So that's cool. Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota. And let's actually look at that on the map. South Dakota. And last question, do you believe that Mount Rushmore is man-made or natural? Man-made or natural? Hopefully you answered man-made, because I just told you how long it took to make. I just told you, did anyone die making it? No, no one died. So I hope you understood that this was a man-made landmark, a place that people wanted to go and visit. South Dakota. There it is up there. And Everglades, again, we're down in Florida. Mount Rushmore is a man-made landmark. Next, we have traveled to the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon. And sometimes with Google Maps, the photos don't come out right. But let's go back. Where is the Grand Canyon? The Grand Canyon is in Arizona. It is in Arizona. I guess that's the only place they'll let you go. Oh, are we at the bottom or the top? Oh, cool. My internet connection just needs to catch up with us. So it's a canyon. It's a carved out, almost hole, you might say, in the earth. And let's take a look at their website. Their website had a lot of great questions, frequently asked questions. It says, how deep is it? It says that depends on how you look at it. The park includes over 1 million acres of land. To be exact, 1,904 square miles. Most people measure the canyon in river miles along the course of the Colorado River at the bottom of the canyon. By that standard, Grand Canyon is 277 miles. It begins at Lee's Ferry and it ends at Grand Wash Cliffs, which I've never been there before, so I'm not sure what that means or what that looks like. But the Colorado River is longer, of course. It's 1,450 miles. And then let's keep looking. How old is the canyon? They say that's a tricky question. Some of the oldest rocks are close to 2,000. It doesn't make sense. So their website is wrong. It's probably 200 million years old. And in the canyon itself, an erosional feature has formed only in the past 5 or 6 million years. So that's pretty recent, right, guys? Let's see. The oldest rocks are very, very old, apparently. Let's keep going. How do we see the canyon? Nearly 5 million people come to see it every year. And then there was another question down here that I thought you'd like. How do I take a mule ride to the inner canyon? So apparently if you chose to go there for real, you could take a mule ride there. So that's the Grand Canyon. My goodness, that's a really good picture. Wow. It is in Arizona. The last question I have for you is this a man-made landmark that people come to visit or a natural landmark? Think about it. I hope you say natural landmark because, my goodness, look at how it's carved into the earth. Nobody carved that. That was man-made. Rivers carved that, erosion, weather carved that using just nature, basically. That's how that was made. So that is the Grand Canyon in Arizona. Remember, you can use Google Maps and you can look at it as well. Next on our tour is, we already looked at the Grand Canyon. Let's look at the Gateway Arch. The Gateway Arch. And let's press back so you can see a different view of it. What if I plopped you right there? It's still so large that it's really hard to take a step back to look at it. Wow. So something to keep in mind when we were looking at the last view of it was how stinking large it is. When you were right up close, I don't know if you paid attention to the lady standing next to it. The lady didn't go much higher than like right there. We'll let that load and let's take a look at the actual website. Why was the gateway, and let's remember why was it built, basically, is the first question. It was built in Missouri. It says, the structure was built as a monument to the vision of Thomas Jefferson, cool, and St. Louis's role in the westward expansion of the United States. And you're going to learn more about westward expansion in 5th grade. But basically, when the Europeans first got to America, they only stayed on the east side. And then there was this thing called Manifest Destiny, which like talked them into exploring more west, exploring more west, exploring more west. And that was the westward expansion. So to honor that or to celebrate that, they built this arch in Missouri. Oh, cool. And you can see the picture right here. It's in St. Louis. All right, let's keep looking. These are cool facts. How tall is it? 630 feet tall. How wide is it? 630 feet at the ground level between the outer sides of the legs. How wide are the legs? 54 feet wide. How wide is it at the top? 17 feet. Let me see. How big are the windows at the top? Some of this stuff blew my mind. 7 inches by 27 inches. That's not what blows my mind. What blows my mind is that you can go to the top. That's super cool. Why are the windows so small? Over 500 tons of pressure was used to pry the north and south legs of the arch apart for the last 4 feet piece to be placed at the top. A larger window would not withstand that pressure. Interesting. They have trams, it says. And if you want to research more, I'm going to put these websites up for you to look. But the one part at the bottom, it talked about yes, look. Does the arch sway? So if you're at the top, will you feel it sway? The arch is designed to sway as much as 18 inches. So a ruler is 12 inches. Half of a ruler is 6 inches. 12 plus 6 is 18, so it's about a ruler and a half. It's designed to sway a ruler and a half and can withstand an earthquake. However, under normal conditions, the arch does not sway. It takes a 50-mile-an-hour wind to move the top 1.5 inches each side of the center. So, again, this is in St. Louis, Missouri, and is it man-made, or is this a natural landmark? Because you're going to be quizzed on this later. We'll let that load. It is, hopefully you said man-made because someone made this. It tells you on the website who made it, actually. Let's look that up right now. Who was the architect? Eero Saarinen won a national competition and the prize of designing this memorial in 1947. Wow, that is an old landmark. I wanted it to at least zoom out a little so you could see it on the map, but that is the Gateway Arch, a man-made landmark in Missouri. Moving on, this is turning into a long one, so I apologize. This is the Devil's Tower, and my goodness, I did a little bit of research on this guy. It is kind of interesting. I had to look up how did it get made, and basically what I understand is that magma built up underneath the surface and pushed up, pushed the land up, and it kind of hardened like this. That's my super basic understanding of this, but that is basically what I understand. This is in, press the back button, Wyoming. Let's see it on the map here. And you can kind of see, darn it, you can kind of see what it looks like when you drag this. Neat. Oh, it lets you get super close. I wanted you to look at this part too. Why is it called the Devil's Tower? Because that's kind of intimidating. Some Indians called it Mato Topilo, meaning bear lodge. Other American Indians named it Bear's Teepee, home of the bear, Tree Rock, and, Great Gray Horn. In 1875, and on an expedition led by Colonel Dodge, it is believed his interpreter misinterpreted the name to mean Bad God's Tower, later shortened to Devil's Tower. So the fact that it's called Devil's Tower, it's near Bear Lodge, it was just an accident. It wasn't supposed to be Devil's Tower. I'll let that load. It's taken a little too long for my liking, but darn it, of course. So that's how tall it is in Wyoming. And you see pictures along the bottom here. Let's actually just click one. That's what it looks like up close. Now, think about it for a second. Do you feel like this is a natural or a man-made landmark? Dun, 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 dun. It is a natural landmark. Nature made this. No man made this. And if you look on their website, you can see that they let you climb it, which I don't know if I would do or not, but seems a little dangerous. It says, does it damage it? Although early rock climbing has left it have some scars, it doesn't damage it. Is it an old volcano? No. Geologists agree that the Devil's Tower is an igneous intrusion. Magma welled up into the surrounding sedimentary rock. There it cooled and hardened. The sedimentary rock has since eroded away to show the tower. So this was magma originally. And it tells you what kind of rock it is as well. That's neat. So this is Devil's Tower in Wyoming, and it is a natural landmark. So we've gone through 7 landmarks. I'm going to try to name it very quick. You can press the rewind button. You can also press the slow down button. Ask me about that. If I talk too fast, I can show you how to slow the videos down. You can speed them up too if I bore you. We talked about the Grand Canyon. I'm going to name them on my fingers. Niagara Falls, Devil's Tower, Everglades. That's 4. 3 more. Denali, Mount Rushmore. That's 7. Nope, 6. Mount Denali, Mount Rushmore. Darn it. I think I probably forgot one. All right, you'll have to write me and tell me which one I forgot. Sorry, Charlie. You'll need this information for further lessons, so come back to this video if you have to remember all the cool landmarks.